Before most African fathers became providers, leaders, and teachers, they were just boys like Kofi, barefoot, hungry, and facing fathers whose strictness could scare you to your core. But it was in that struggle that character was born. Kofi was the firstborn of 11 children. His father, a pupil teacher, spent his days in the village school, guiding young minds with patience and strictness. His mother, a hardworking petty trader, sold yams, tomatoes, and oranges by the roadside, stretching every cedi to feed the family. Money was always tight, yet love, discipline, and faith filled their home. Being the eldest was no small responsibility. Kofi woke first every morning, swept the compound, helped his mother prepare tiny meals, and ensured his younger siblings were ready for school. Hunger was always there, gnawing quietly at their stomachs, but so was hope. Even the smallest bowl of porridge was a lesson in sharing, and even the smallest chore taught responsibility. During break times, when other children opened bowls brought from home, Kofi and his siblings slipped into nearby bushes, searching for wild fruits, guava, berries, anything they could find. They ate quickly, wiping juice from their hands before the bell rang. Hunger followed them everywhere, a constant shadow that never fully left. Weekends were no different. They were for survival, not rest. Kofi and his siblings walked nearly 4 kilometers to their father's coconut farm, and another 4 kilometers back, barefoot, under the harsh sun. The paths were dusty, the ground unforgiving. They carried cutlasses, baskets, and their own exhaustion. Along the way, small moments broke the heaviness. One brother complained about a stone stuck in his foot as he walked. Another joked about racing home after work, laughter briefly lifting the tired air. Sometimes they laughed while cracking coconuts, sharing the water like a feast. Other times, they argued over whose turn it was to carry the heavier load. And more than once, they were pricked by sharp thorns in the bush, pausing to shake their hands or pull splinters from their skin. Yet through it all, Kofi always found a way to keep them moving. Over time, leaving tools behind became a habit. A cutlass here, a hoe there, small mistakes that Kofi's father tolerated at first. Then one day, after a long afternoon on the farm, the children returned home exhausted, leaving the family cutlass leaning against a tree. The next morning, when their father needed it to work the land, it was gone. His anger was fierce and immediate. Kofi's heart raced, but their mother's soft pleading calmed him, and though the cutlass had been lost through carelessness, he forgave them, that once. Not long after, another incident occurred. This time, the children left the cutlass again, and also the small bundle of matches used to light the evening fire. They were too poor to replace the items, and Kofi's father knew that. Villagers came, pleading on their behalf, but he remained firm. "You will go back and retrieve them," he said. "Only by facing the consequences of your carelessness will you learn responsibility." That evening, Kofi and his brothers prepared for the journey. Lanterns flickered in their hands. Their feet were bare. Their hearts were heavy with fear and shame. The forest loomed ahead, thick and unfamiliar, whispering secrets only the night understood. Every rustle of leaves and snap of twigs reminded them of their father's strictness and the lesson they had earned. They walked, and walked, and walked. But because it was late, the path no longer looked the same. Slowly, fear crept in. They could not find where the items had been left. Then suddenly, a man appeared. No one knew where he came from. He warned them that the direction they were heading was dangerous. Without many words, he walked with them, guiding them carefully through the forest. When they reached a familiar clearing, the man stopped. Kofi turned to thank him. He was gone. No footsteps, no sound, nothing. The forest was silent again. Shaken but guided, they found the cutlass and the matches and returned home. That night, Kofi lay awake, replaying everything in his mind. He did not have words for it yet, but something had changed. For Kofi, the firstborn, this was more than a trip to collect tools. It was a rite of passage, a reminder that in a home guided by discipline, love, and strictness walked hand in hand, and every mistake had a price. As he drifted into uneasy sleep, one truth settled quietly in his heart. Life's hardest lessons often come wrapped in fear, humility, and the quiet hope that one day all struggles would lead to something greater. Your beginnings will seem humble, so prosperous will your future be. Job 8:7. Will Kofi and his brothers ever forget this night? Was the man in the forest a stranger or divine help? Don't miss the next episode.